Hi guys, so it's the Saturday before Christmas and I thought it was about time I finished my wrapping. So I thought it'd be fun to do a little chat while I'm doing that, and we'll see how this goes because I don't know if I'm going to be able to focus on wrapping and chatting, but we'll see how it goes. Anyway, I finished half the kids' presents the other day, so I'm doing like one or two more presents for them, and then I have to wrap all of Derek's and then my family's. So that's what I'm working on. Anyway, thought we could just chat about whatever pops into my head. So first thing I guess I was thinking of, since I'm wrapping anyway, is if you have any sort of like system for how you wrap things, because with 5 kids I have to have some sort of system because I will forget what's in all the presents. I won't be able to remember, and then it's always like a struggle to me to figure out, what should I have the boys open when the girls open this gift or whatever. It's just a lot of stuff to think about. It's actually really hard just to even shop for them because I feel like I want the boys and the girls' gifts to be like, the gifts that they open at the same time to be, you know, somewhat equal in price. But just between my oldest and my youngest is, what, 7 or 8 years, so that's a big difference in interests. And presents start to cost more the older they get, so it's a little tricky. It's tricky to figure out like what kind of gifts I can give them that will be what they want, but also all be in a similar price range so that when they open them they all seem somewhat equal, if that makes sense. I don't think everything has to be 100% perfectly fair down to the penny, but I want them to be like as close as I can. So it's tricky. I don't know if anybody else struggles with that with shopping, but I do. Anyway, so that's the first step that's hard with buying the presents for the kids. And then the second part that is hard to handle is figuring out, like I said, what to have them open at the same time. And then I have a little system to keep track of what present is what and the order I want them to wrap it in. So I thought I'd show you this really quick actually while I'm here. While I'm wrapping, I keep a little page like this in my bullet journal. So on each page I put a sample of the wrapping paper I used for each gift, and then I write down what I got each kid. So I'll wrap, you know, all the presents I want them to open at the same time in this paper, write down what they are. So on Christmas morning I just refer to this, and then I can remember which present is what, and if I want to change the order randomly, I have all the information right there. So it's easier to figure out what I want them to open and when and all that. And like I said, I kind of code the presents by wrapping them all on the same paper, the ones that I want them to open at the same time. So maybe I'm overcomplicating this. Maybe other people don't do this, but that's how I manage things. But anyway, I got this for my little 5-year-old. It'll be cute. I don't know, you know, the joke is always that the kids, when they open clothes, they just throw them over their shoulder because they don't really care about the clothes. I don't know if, when I was a kid, I liked getting new clothes or new, especially if they were like cute or had characters on them or whatever. So I got my kids some clothes for Christmas this year in addition to some presents. It's kind of a time that I can buy just some cute things that maybe wouldn't normally be in the like necessities budget for clothes, but I can squeeze it in with their Christmas presents. So I got them some Disney character clothes and stuff like that. And I got other stocking stuffers in the bags here. I realized the other day when I was wrapping that I have no clothes boxes, like no boxes that I could use for clothes, so I had to buy some. This is for my 8-year-old. Just love all these little sparkly dresses and things. I got them on clearance in the fall, so that was convenient. Anyway, that's my system for wrapping presents. And like I said, I've got to finish the clothes for the kids. I guess this is the last thing I have to wrap for the kids, so that's nice. But then I have to wrap all of Derek's, and then I have to wrap a few like together gifts that I get, because I also try every year to get, for our family, I like to get us a new game. It's fun if I can get us some new movies or new TV shows or things like that to watch together. So I also got stuff like that that I'm going to wrap up. I think I got on Black Friday because there was a lot of good like TV movie deals on Black Friday. I think I'm folding this very nice. I'm trying to make it look nice for when I put it in the box, so when I open it, it looks fun, but we'll see how it goes. Anyway, another thing I thought I would talk about is books. Books I've been reading. So I'm trying to think what I've kind of jumped around a lot. As you know, if you've been around for a while, I just am very much a mood reader, but like to the point where it's kind of a problem because I don't finish all the books I start. Oh no, look at this. Okay, good. There's still some big boxes. When I bought these clothes boxes, I thought there was more that were this big size for the clothes, but when I just opened it, it looked like this, and I was thinking, no, you can't do this to me. We can't have two, you know, the size that I thought be cut in half. I just need big boxes for the clothes. Anyway, it's not that way, so it's okay. What was I saying? Oh, books. So this winter I am working on, well, I guess for the past 2 winters I've been working on finishing the Lord of the Rings series because I started rereading it like a couple years ago. So I don't know why it always takes me so long, but I always get bogged down in the 2 towers. I don't know why. It's just, I think the part where the hobbits get, I don't know if it's going to fit in this box. Let's get a bigger box. I think the part where the you know, Merry and Pippin go missing, they get kidnapped by the orcs, and they're, oh my goodness, something just fell outside. That was weird. Hope that wasn't something important. I'm gonna go check. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry. Derek threw something into the garage, and so it made a big thumping sound, and for a second I thought something fell off the roof, so that would have been bad, but it wasn't anything important. So anyway, what was I saying? I was talking about the 2 towers. So I think the part where Merry and Pippin get kidnapped by the orcs, and we don't really know what's happening, and it keeps flashing back and forth between like Aragorn and Legolas and Gimli, and then Merry and Pippin, and they don't like really find out anything, and they go and they talk to the King of Rohan, and then, you know, we find out later what happened to Merry and Pippin, and I don't know, it just feels like a lot of kind of a recapping, like the characters themselves are recapping what had already happened to them in the story, and which is fine, I guess a fine way to write it, but I feel like the story really picks up for me when it switches back to Frodo and Sam, because it's more of a first person, well, I guess not first person, third person, but it's more, you know, they're telling you what's happening as it's happening instead of telling you what happened after the fact in the story. Does that make sense? I'm not very good maybe with some of my literary terms to be able to explain exactly what I mean. Sometimes I think I should take like an online literature class or something like that, because I love books. I've always loved books, and of course I took some literature classes in college, or in high school I should say, but in college I just took English comp. I was going into a science field, so it wasn't really necessary to take any extended literature classes or anything like that. I wasn't going into an English field or anything, so I'm trying to make sure I have the right things here. So anyway, I just didn't learn, well, I'm sure I did in high school, but I don't remember it now. I didn't learn all the terms and things, or I don't remember all the terms from high school about how to explain different devices in writing, I guess. But I know it when I read it, and I know what is easier for me to read. So anyway, I'm finally to the part where it gets back to Frodo and Sam, where it's just telling, you know, what's happening as it's happening, and that's where the story picks up for me again. Plus, you know, there's the whole Gollum element, which makes it really interesting. Anyway, if you've never read Lord of the Rings, this is probably all really boring, but if you haven't read it, you also should, because it's really good. But anyway, so I'm working on that. I'm probably going to finish 2 towers before the end of December here, which will be good. And then after that, I don't know, I've been kind of in the middle of several books. So I'm still working on my World War I personal study project that I've been doing. Oh, I already used this paper. I can't use this again. Let's do this one. I'm still working on my my World War I personal study project. And it's been interesting. I'm working on A World Undone. I think it's G.J. Myers or something who wrote it. And it's good. It's like basically just telling you all the history of what happened during every part of World War I. So it tells about this what started it, and then all the major battles along the way, all the kind of conflicts and problems between different leaders of different countries, and just how that all contributed to how the war went down, I guess. So it sounds really dry when I'm talking about it that way, but it's good. It's not dry. At least I don't think it's dry. You probably have to be in there like a history mood to really appreciate it while you're reading it. It's not written like a narrative, like a story necessarily, but I am really interested right now in figuring out all the moving pieces of World War I. So to me, it's really interesting. But I'm about halfway through that book. It is a huge, huge book. I don't know when I'm going to finish it. It's probably 600 pages or something, and I'm halfway through it. I knocked a bunch of the book out when we were going on a trip to a cousin's wedding. I read quite a lot of it then, and I was really on a roll, and I thought I would maybe even finish it that weekend, but I didn't, because it was longer than I thought. So I don't know when I'm going to finish that. I feel like I need to get on another reading roll with it, and then I'll get through it quicker. But oh no, is this not long enough? No, it is. We're good. Okay. So anyway, I'm going to make sure I remember whose presents is whose while I'm wrapping here. I'm going to have to open them back up to figure it out. So anyway, I'm reading that. I'm also still reading Back Over There by, I forget his name, it's Robert Rubin. I might be getting that wrong, but I read his other book, Blast the Doughboys. I've talked about it before, and still working on that book. I kind of wanted to finish all of my World War I books before January, so I could start a new study project if I wanted to in January, but I don't think I'm going to finish them. So I think my World War I topic is going to go into January for a little while, and then I might pick another one for partway through the year. There's no saying I have to do just one per year, right? So anyway, I think this has been a great year to read about World War I, because just with a year that's been hard for a lot of people, and so many crazy things have happened, and it's been stressful. It's been stressful for like even people who haven't been paying attention, right? It's just stressful for everybody. So I think reading a book like books about World War I and digging into that a little bit more this year was really timely. And I think maybe the Lord gave that to me at the beginning of the year to help my attitude throughout the year, because before anything happened in January is when I decided to start reading about World War I, and just seeing just how much hardship people went through at that time. And then I've been reading about World War I, but also diving into just some of the times in history of what happened around, like surrounding World War I. So just to think of these people who here they have to fight this terrible world war, especially, you know, everybody in Europe went through a real hard time for a long time. And then even in America joined the war later, but even when we joined, it was still, you know, brutal for everybody. And then once the war ended and all those soldiers came back home, there was like more hard times, one after the other, right in a row there. So there was like World War I. As soon as that ended, everybody gets brought home, and then all of a sudden we're diving into like the Great Depression, and especially people in like the Dust Bowl areas of the country. That I read a little bit of The Worst Hard Time this year. I haven't finished it, but that was brutal. That was like hard times. And I know we all think that this is hard times, and I've heard people say, it is hard times, but I've heard people say that this is like the worst year ever. And maybe it's the worst year in our lifetime, but it's definitely not the worst year ever. Let's just hope this isn't like a season, a period of several years like it was back then, because like I said, they came home from World War I, right into the Great Depression. Nobody had work, lots of people starving, terrible time for the country. If you're in the Dust Bowl, you're basically losing all of your crops, losing your farm, losing your land, losing all these animals that they just had to kill because they couldn't feed them. huge environmental disaster, affected the whole country really. And then right after that, maybe we had a little bit of a reprieve in the 30s in America, but Europe did not, because Hitler came to power right there in the 1930s, and then we're swooped right back into World War II. So there was like a whole half of a century there that was just really rough. So I'm just saying, this is a hard year, but it is not as hard as it could be, and we should be just counting our blessings and thanking the Lord for seeing us through, and for His grace to us, that it's like, even with everything going on in the world, and the pandemic and like just everything, it is not as bad as it could be. Because, oh, that's the other thing that happened at the beginning of the 19th century, the Spanish flu. You know how at the beginning of this whole thing, there was all of these comparisons to what they did in 1917 and 1918 in different cities to handle the Spanish flu. That was right there. So they come home from World War I right into the Spanish flu, and that was a bad epidemic. So, or pandemic. Pandemic, I guess that was a pandemic too. Anyway, times could be worse, and I'm just saying it's good to have a historical perspective of things, to know that people have been through really much worse than we have in like first world countries anyway, and we should just, you know, thank the Lord for our blessings. Anyway, that's a big sorry. Anyway, what else have I been reading? I don't know, I've started several books. For some reason I have a hard time like sticking to one book. Sometimes I'll start a book, and if it doesn't catch me and my attention as quickly as I thought it should, I'll just start something else, and then I have 10 books going. This has been my problem forever, and I really should work on it because it's a bad habit. But I gotta find my tags, just a second. Okay, I'm gonna open these. I got these sparkly tags at Walmart. Trying to think of what fiction I've even been reading lately. I'm trying to get back into The Lake House by Kate Morton, because I was going to read that this past spring, but just kind of got off my radar. I think honestly when everything went down, because my reading moods changed quite a bit just with everything this year. It's been all over the place, but it's okay. We'll get back to it eventually. I'm going to try to finish that one probably in January at this point. I don't think I'm going to get to it right now, but what else have we been up to? I don't know. I'm drawing a blank right now on books, honestly. I'm trying to listen to more audiobooks, because that's a way I really get through books quickly, is by reading audiobooks. So I was listening to a Christmas book. It was like Marley. It was supposed to tell like the backstory of Marley from A Christmas Carol, you know, and just what happened in his life. But I started it and I was getting a little depressed. I don't know, it just wasn't hitting the spot. So I don't know if I'm going to continue with that one. I feel like, plus I felt like it was, and maybe it was just part of the story, and it probably was going to be resolved through the story, but there was just definitely a lot of jabs at like Christianity too in it, and it was annoying me a little bit, and then I wasn't feeling real invested. I've only listened to probably like 3 chapters of it, but maybe 4. I don't know, it just wasn't hitting the spot. So I think I'm going to give up on that one. I actually kind of in the mood for like a thriller type book again. So I got one for free. If you don't know, if you're like an Amazon Prime member, every month, I think it's called, it's like Kindle First Reads or something. Every month they give out like free ebooks, basically. Any newer book that's coming out that month, they pick like 5 of them maybe, and you have a chance to pick one of them for free. So that's kind of fun. Anyway, I found one maybe a couple months ago. It was called, I think called Open House. I don't remember who wrote it, but I kind of started reading that in the car last night just because I was in the mood to read, and I can't read in the dark. So I was reading on my phone. Oh, this box will not close. These boxes are really annoying. Okay, I hate the closed boxes. You think we could come up with something better for clothes, right? I know it needs to be cheap, but I can't get the lid on. I'm gonna have to tape it. Anyway, so I started that in the car. It's called Open House, and I am already really interested in it. So I think I might just go with that for now, because I might as well read what's kind of hitting the spot, so to speak. Oh, come on. This is gonna be a really lumpy package. Okay, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna read that book. I'll let you know what I think about it. What else have I been reading, guys? I don't know. I'm trying to read The Cricket on the Hearth, which is a Dickens Christmas book, because I read A Christmas Carol last year after, I think I've read it before, but it had been a long time ago. I'm sorry if my head keeps getting cut off. It's just the way this is set up. I probably should have adjusted a little bit. But anyway, so I'm reading The Cricket on the Hearth. I think it's, or is it A Cricket on the Hearth? Whatever. I know a lot of people like to rag on Dickens because they think his books are hard to read and hard to get into, and a lot of them are really, really long. But I really like his Christmas stories. They're short and pretty easy to read, and just the way he puts sentences together is just really amazing to me. Like, you can see why he wrote so many classics and was such a great author, because he just is a wordsmith. But anyway, so I started that. I've already underlined a few pages. I don't think I've even gotten through the first chapter, but I've already found several passages that I just thought were just so beautifully written. So it's been fun to read it. Hoping to finish it before this next week, because I'm going to see some of my friends, and we always try to, we read books together. Like, we try to read classic books and then discuss them. So we were supposed to read The Cricket on the Hearth, but this whole year we've kind of been thrown off, so we haven't been keeping up on reading the books together very much, but I would like to read it myself, so that if anybody else has read it, we at least can talk about it, but it should be nice. Anyway, I think I'm going to go ahead and close this video out because I'm running out of things to talk about, and because it's really hard to talk and also rap. I'm just getting myself distracted. So anyway, I hope you all are having a great weekend before Christmas, doing something fun, and I will talk to you soon.